Last week I got my first LEGO Ninjago set in 8 months. As you can see, it is the 71836 Arc Dragon of Focus 9+, 869 pieces. The set comes with 8 minifigures, 2 little side builds and 1 main dragon. And it released in March of 2025, with the Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 2 wave. This set pairs extremely well with the other set in the wave being the Thunderfang Dragon of Chaos. As in Season 3 Episode 20, spoiler alert if you haven't watched Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 already, those two dragons do have a little face-off and it is extremely chaotic. So if you get those two sets, it makes for an excellent fight scene. Anyway, I've had a lot of fun with this set over the last few days, and I wanted to make a review despite it being kind of irrelevant. The set came out 8 months ago now, and Dragons Rising Season 3 was ages ago as well. But I just wanted to make a review anyway, because it just seemed to be kind of fun. So without further ado, let's get into the review of the Arc Dragon of Focus. The box art is pretty good, depicting the battle that takes place in Episode 20, and overall makes for a decent advertisement look. The 8 minifigures you do get is Lloyd, Cole, Wildfire, Pixel, Kai, Drix, a Dragonian Warrior, and Zarked. 8 really good minifigures. Actually, the only 2 that I wouldn't really think anything of is Wildfire and Dragonian Warrior, as they both appear in several other sets. But they're always nice inclusions nonetheless. The back of the box shows the dragon from another angle and also highlights all the play features. So as we can see here, it looks like there's going to be like a big missile in the middle, and some sort of play feature functionality, whatever, that can move the wings. I'm excited to see that. Anyway, the back of the box does make for a really dynamic look, and it is really cool. The first minifigures I wanted to show is the 2 that I mentioned before, is Wildfire and the Dragonian Warrior. The Dragonian Warrior is definitely the better of the 2. He wields an extremely unique battle axe, which looks really cool, and his head section alone is made of 5 pieces. There's nothing really to complain about with this minifigure. It looks a little bit goofy from some angles, but that's about it for this minifigure. It comes in several other sets, so I'm sure I'll be talking about it in the near future anyway. Wildfire is nothing special. I've talked about her in another LEGO set review, being the Tournament Temple City. Go watch that if you haven't already. And now this is my 3rd copy of this exact minifigure, so it's really nothing special, but it is a good minifigure, so I can see why they would want to reuse it, but it is getting extremely repetitive, as we have been getting this minifigure for 2 years now. If going into Dragons Rising Season 4 she doesn't have another costume, I'm going to start having, second thoughts about this character, because we cannot be having 4 seasons of a show where she has 2 outfits. It's getting extremely repetitive, and we definitely need to be getting a new Wildfire within the next few months. The next minifigure I wanted to show is, of course, Kai. These ninja outfits are extremely unique. They come with a new mask mold. A slight pattern in Dragons Rising is that every single ninja minifigure is identical nearly, except obviously their colour differences, and this suit is no exception. These minifigures are identical in nearly every way except for things that make them unique, being their colours, their heads, and their little logos in the right corner. This line of suits is really cool and one that I'm excited to be able to get all 6 of. And actually you can get all 6 of these suits, being Jay, Zane, Nia, and these 3 that you see here. And that is if you buy this set, and also the Dragonian Village, which, as I mentioned before, does come with Jay in his rogue outfit, Nia and Zane in these outfits. These are some amazing suits, and a full collection of them would be very cool to have. Drix and Zarked are the 2 Forbidden 5 members that you'd get in this set, and I do really like them. Their weapons are really cool, and they have got some extremely unique prints and molds. Especially Zarked, that bucket hat thing is so unique, but it's just so strange. I don't really like it. I think it's a very strange design choice, and it's something that I wouldn't have gone with. I would have gone with something more typical like Drix has on the left. I definitely prefer this Drix minifigure on the left to the Zarked minifigure on the right, although Zarked is a lot more unique, appearing in only 2 sets, whereas Drix appears in several. A nice pair of Forbidden 5 members to get in this set. It's just such a shame that it's so hard to get all 5 of them. Final minifigure in this set is Pixel, and this is the first time I've ever gotten a Pixel minifigure, so this is extremely cool and memorable for me. And it is probably one of the best versions of her that we've ever gotten. As much as I would like to have one of her Samurai X versions from like Season 7, this is an amazing minifigure nonetheless. She does have a flip face as well, one with the smiley face and the other side having that mask. Only annoyance for me is that she only comes with a silver katana. I think a Samurai X should be getting a much more unique weapon, but it's still a good minifigure, and I'm not going to let the weapon take away from that. One of the best versions of Pixel that we've ever gotten, and I'm very happy that it's my first variant. And it almost feels surreal in a way, because she hasn't been in a season of Ninjago since Crystallized. Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 is the first time we've seen her since then, and it's been 3 years, so to finally get her in a set was extremely cool, and seeing her in the show was even cooler. First thing you spilled in this set is this spinner. Now this is the type of thing that you get in one of those Happy Meal sets. I don't even know what to call them at this point anymore, they're just spinners, and they come in a Happy Meal box, to be honest. But yeah, this adds about £10 value to this set, which is really appreciated. And this is a really cool play feature intended for Zarked. My bad, Drix. So simply putting Drix in there and then pushing on this. Okay, I did not do that right. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. That's really cool in my opinion. It really recreates that Spinjitzu look very well. And it does take quite a while for it to fall over. It lasts about 30 seconds. An extremely fun play feature for kids, and it's a nice inclusion, but is it really just there to drive up the price? Yes. If they didn't include this, we probably could have gotten this for £80 instead of the £90 retail. So for that reason, I would rather it not be included. But it is still cool nonetheless. The other side build is a little bit more relevant, but still one that didn't need to be included. I do like it though, as it comes with a prismatic blade, and I think there's 4 of them in total, and I've only gotten 1 of them. So this was the first set I got one in, so that was quite cool. I like it for that reason, but again, this just didn't need to be included. This is just another thing that LEGO used to drive up the price by £10. As realistically, if we didn't get these 2 side builds, it could have been £70, and there would have been a couple less minifigures, but it's just not a big deal. I would rather be getting the dragon and a few minifigures for £70 than £90, a couple of side builds and a couple extra minifigures. It's just not worth that £20 for me. Luckily, I did manage to get it on sale for £65 anyway, but if you're buying this at retail price, you're not really getting a good deal, as these things are never really going to be going on display, are they? And that's not to say that they're bad. I do really like them, and I had a lot of fun building them. But they're just unnecessary inclusions. Onto the Arc Dragon of Focus, this thing is really cool. There's also play features and a lot of points of articulation, which I'll get onto in a moment. But first, as an overall look, it is very good. I have got a few complaints, which I will also get onto in a moment. But from the source material in Dragons Rising Season 3, they have done a very good job. Particularly this entire front section, I think this entire area here is very well done. Especially on the right side, I think it's a little bit weaker on the left side. But overall, if you're displaying it from the front, that's probably the best look that you're going to be getting. If not, I would be recommending display it from the side from here, with the right side facing outwards, as in my opinion, that left side is slightly weaker than that right side. But again, it is still pretty good. But in my opinion, I just prefer how the purple clashes with the gold than how this tan colour clashes with the gold, because I just really don't think that's a good colour clash. But I get that they needed to do that for the overall symmetry of the set, so I understand why they did it, but it just makes for a compromised look, which is why I do prefer that purple side to that tan side. I have a lot more to say about this middle to back section though. There are so many weird colours and gaps included, and it just makes for such a bad look. It doesn't ruin the entire set for me, as you're rarely going to be looking at it from this angle, but it is still very bad. From random splashes of blue and orange to just brown through the entire middle, it just looks awful. The gaps I can actually understand though, because it does make for a very fun play feature, which I will show in more detail in a moment, but there are a lot of compromises made for that play feature. At the back, this tail goes back and forth very well. There's just not a lot of friction, which makes it just kind of go randomly. So if I pick up this set and, just, I think that kind of puts it into perspective, the slightest movement can make it go entirely the other way. And also, getting it to display in the middle is extremely difficult, as simply by turning it around is going to cause that tail to change directions, which makes it very hard to display. That's a problem that I've noticed. I don't know if you're having that issue as well though. On the front left and right, there are these lanterns which can move however you like, and I think they do look really cool and add a lot to the overall design and structure of the set. Moving down here, this is that turret that I was talking about earlier. Simply by pushing on this red piece here, you can shoot that turret, and it's very fast and very strong. And I get why they used a red brick, because it means that you can highlight where that turret is, so that you know exactly where to push it on. I just don't think that's necessary, because who in the right mind doesn't know where to push? It shows on the back of the box, and it shows in the instructions, and the red just makes it look so much worse. The wings are made of one really cool piece, and genuinely the wings are probably some of the best parts of this set. They do look extremely good. And as I said before, this play feature is very good, and you can simply do that by pushing this back and forth. Overall, this is a very good set, but it's just so compromised. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's such a good display look, and the minifigures are fantastic. These side builds are there just to drive up the price though. So yes, overall at 8.5 out of 10 for this particular set. I had a lot of fun putting it together, but overall, it is very compromised, and there is a lot of things that they need to be doing better with this set. Anyway, let me know if you are going to be buying this one anytime soon. Let me know if you've already bought it, and if so, what do you think of it? And thanks for watching, bye.